is providing resources to test for a dangerous and deadly gas that could be inside of your home. The Department of Health and Human Services is giving out 2,000 free radon test kits starting New Year's Day. Radon is released from the ground into the air but can become dangerous when trapped inside of homes. The odorless, colorless gas is responsible for nearly 450 deaths every year in North Carolina and is the top environmental cause of lung cancer across the state. If you want a kit, you can request one at radon.ncdhhs.gov. Police